Hello and welcome to another contact card. For this week we have pod. So this is a pod, this is a ship card. So let's dive into this cute little story. Amber sat cross-legged in the very center of the pod's tiny cabin. She was deep in her meditation as the little ship carried her silently through the solitude of space, the distant stars softly reflecting in its burnished pewter skin. The small pod knew in its automated memory where Amber was going to go, so there was no need for her to monitor the controls. However, it was limited in its propulsion power. This was going to be a long trip. Amber could just as easily have booked passage on one of the new light cruisers that offered every conceivable amenity and would have delivered her to her destination in a fraction of the time. She chose the Spartan pod ship instead because she knew that the one person she needed to spend time with was herself. Her life was happy and fulfilling, but recently she found it harder and harder to find time to be alone. Though Amber's civilization was very advanced, it was easy to become caught up in the furious pace and ecstatic drive of 20 billion expressive souls. Before you knew it, you were one among many instead of one out of many. Amber's awareness continued to drift inward until she felt complete tranquility. She was actually surprised at the ease and speed at which she reached her peaceful center. The becalming serenity washed away all of her concerns until her mind was as empty as the womb of endless black space that surrounded the pod. A warm, loving vibration flooded her body and soul. She was once again one with the universe, floating in the love of the infinite. Slowly, Amber opened her eyes and viewed the pod's intimate interior with appreciation for the revelation the small spacecraft had afforded her. She realized she could rely on this experience to be there for her in the future when she found herself lost in the hustle of everyday life. Now she was ready for her journey's end, where she could meet and interact with others. Once again, Amber knew who she was, a unique, cherished, and unconditionally supported aspect of all that is. So the pod card is all about taking a personal journey of introspection and self-awareness. So for this card, sometimes we search for fulfillment through external sources such as people, objects, places in the outside world, which is an amazing way to experience the richness of this life here on this planet. But the story of Amber talks about how rest and rejuvenation are essential when we feel overwhelmed by the busyness of everyday life. And this card, the pod card, invites us, when seeking solitude, this space allows us to fine-tune our inner wisdom and turning our attention inwards. And this allows us to sharpen our listening skills as well, both inward and outward. And it can take a lot of courage to dive deep into the realms of our own subconscious, our shadows, and the things that we've kept hidden from not just others, but ourselves as well. And knowing ourselves is not only essential, but it's the whole reason why we're here, that we've decided to live this life here on this earth to begin with. And what kind of relationship do we have with others when we don't know ourselves first? And if you do discover something fearful, remember that fear is just a messenger telling us that there's something out of alignment with our true selves within our own belief system. So I promise you, you're really not that scary as you think. So what did the pod card bring up for you? Tell me in the comments below. I love reading what you have to share. Okay, see you next week. Bye. Mwah.